Welcome to the Smart CEO Smart Chat. I am Kyra Hardwick, and I am thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this episode will be an incredible influence on the way that you do the work that you do every day. So whether you're a smart CEO, working from home, working from the office, simply navigating your life and family, whatever it is, today's the day you made a great decision to tune into our podcast and get this smart talk. So let's dig in. Hello, everyone. I am Kyra Rénel, the founder of the Smart CEO community and the host of the Smart Talk podcast. And I am excited to be with you today. And not only am I excited to be with you today, I'm excited to be with our guest today. Conversations are so priceless. And when we can simply have master classes in our dialogue and invite you in, Smart CEO, Smart Talk podcast listeners, you should be saying thank you. And this is one of those conversations you're going to want to say thank you for. We won't hold them up, but Nikki Knight is our guest today on the Smart Talk podcast. Nikki, an interdisciplinary strategist. I am excited to have you on. Welcome to the Smart Talk podcast. So, Nikki Knight, I've known you for a little bit of time. I don't know how much time because I feel like it's been a lifetime. It's when you're one of those people that I've met on this journey of growing and developing as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a part of other communities. But I'm excited for the Smart Talk community to get to know you. I will tell you, I first had you like programmed in my phone as the nonprofit lady. And that's exactly, you might still be that in my phone actually. And probably heard a friend of a friend said, this is who you should talk to, or this is who we're working with. And that's how I learned of you. And from then, it's been a journey to just peel back beautiful layers of the onion and get to know Nikki Knight, who is far greater than the nonprofit lady. I am excited. Everyone, welcome our guest, Nikki Knight. Nikki, tell us about yourself.
Oh, wow. Thanks again for having me, Kyra. I'm just a little lady with a lot of big things going on. Nikki Knight, I have been in this interdisciplinary world for over 20 years. I actually started when I graduated high school with my first firm, Orderly Essentials, and it was an organizing and strategy firm. And it started with just individuals, high net worth individuals. I would do things for them personally, almost like a concierge slash personal assistant. And then it segued right into business, into nonprofit, into systems and things like that. So my work has just been really creating systems and creating flows wherever they need to connect. That's pretty much what it is. It's just interdisciplinary work, all things working together. And that's what I do, create strategies for that.
Why? Why in
Why?
the world do you lend yourself and your brilliance to the work that you're doing? Why are you doing it? There's something, has to be something very specific or particular about who you are that you want to help others get organized and strategize. Like, why is that your thing?
One, order is essential. That's one. But also, I think sometimes we make things too hard. So when we make things difficult, sometimes it stops us from doing great things. If we can create ease in our systems, ease in our thought processes, and ease in the work, it becomes a joy and people don't see it as a burden. So if one system complements another, it just makes everything seamless. And so I think I see the world in a way where there's a lot of things that have deficits and are really easier than people make them out to be. And that's really my why is I think that we can live in a space of ease and efficiency and growth and miracle. I think we can live in those spaces simultaneously, right? Concurrently. And there's a process to it. So that's why I do it, because I think things can be easy. They don't have to be hard.
That's good. That's good. And that definitely is a very clear mindset, right? A lot of us, especially CEOs, leaders, and folks that find themselves building something out of nothing. A lot of us have taken very challenging roads. A lot of us have taken very smart roads to get into. I think we've gotten smarter as the years have gone by and how we get into business or how we support business. But Nikki, you said something in your intro, the early portion of your intro that you started Orderly Essentials in high school or just out of high school. Let's talk about that startup because the focus today is when ladies lead. Now, you're leading straight out of high school. How did you know you had an entrepreneurial bug? What was your intention around starting Orderly Essentials then?
Oh wow. Backstory. Went to Lamar High School. I was raised by entrepreneurs. Almost I would say 70% of my family, they're entrepreneurs. And so that's really all I know. But in that process, high schools, I went to Lamar High School, shout out Lamar Senior Girls. When that process was going on, I was the back end person doing the all the digital ticket designs, making sure that the money was straight, making sure that we were advertising correctly. Like putting those things together in high school. Realized that my gift was in administration and that I could basically run the world. And so I took that and decided to live that out. So it started in high school because for some reason I never want to be in the front. However, that never is my charge. When I get somewhere and I see something, I will try to whisper the solutions. No, you can just do it. It's like, wait a minute, I'm trying to empower you to do this.
Don't
But
want
it's
no
just
empowerment, ma'am.
they don't want no empowerment whatsoever. They like, come do this, girl. It started there. Really, it just started with me being solution oriented and finding the system to create a solution. And I attribute that to my parents because my parents, with their entrepreneurial mindsets, it was never a focus on the problem. It was like, okay, this is what it is. Okay, what are we trying to get to? And let's get the solution for that. So that's basically how it started, was me living it, then working it without even knowing that I'm working it, and then realizing that, oh, people will pay me for this. Because I would go to friends' houses and organize their closet, and they'd be like, this is great, and their parents were like, can you do mine? I'll pay you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was those kind of things that kind of segued and built this company that I have. And interestingly enough, in over 20 years, I've never advertised my company, right? So it was really word of mouth, and that was a testament to it, one, being God breathed and really using your natural gifts and abilities to make room or have room made for you.
Absolutely. And you gave such a great example of realizing that people will pay for the solutions that you were providing, right? You were creating this space of order. And I always tell clients, if you are working in your lane, not I won't say lane because I don't like to be buckled down, but if you're working in your flow and in your purpose, advertising is and I know my marketing folks are going to come from me, but advertising is a secondary necessity, not a primary necessity, because people are going to refer to you and they're going to send the market to you. You're going to attract the market at a pace that you can maintain to build that capacity, try new things, learn new systems, learn new ways, increase your revenue by increasing your pricing, adding new services. There's this natural gradual growth process that people can go on if they pay attention to what the market is saying. The market will ask for you. And Nikki, I love that you said that. And I want people to think about that. Even now, you catapult 20 years forward. You're not a high school girl anymore, just coming around doing things because it's fun. You're like, no, this is the way we do things. This is the work.
Right.
And you have people that you're responsible for and responsibilities that you've committed to your clients. And so now thinking about that gradual growth process over these last 20 years, and you start to build a different kind of capacity because you're working with folks that have a higher level of need, that are able to articulate it, that are able to pay you for the solution. I'd love to hear, and for the Smart CEO listeners, to hear, Nikki, how you grew your service model over those 20 years. Give us the snapshot of that. And then how you grew your pricing model, so to speak, over that time frame. And the real core of what I'm getting to is, how did you adapt as you were doing that? What did you have to do to realize that you could change your rates, you could provide service on this level? Give us that backside, which is less buttoned up, but it's a little more
So,
interdisciplinary.
oh, no problem. I can do that for you. Like I said, at first it started with as a labor of love, right? I just
Yeah.
enjoyed doing it. But love is a capacity driven thing, right? You have to have the capacity to do the things you desire to do, whether it's passion, whether it's volunteering, whether it's work, whatever. So at first, as most entrepreneurs do, I worked myself to the bone. I worked myself all times of the hours. I was the on girl. I was the it girl. It was me, right? But then I realized that the reason for my work is great, but for me to enjoy the fruits of my work, I had to shift some things in my own systems. My pricing has always been on a retained basis because people call me all times of the day and night. I typically, depending on the client, because my words for since 20 years ago, I do not work with everyone, right? Because everyone doesn't, they may think they need what I have, but they may not need me. They may need something or someone else. And I can support them in locating that or giving them a framework for that, but they may not need me. A lot of people want to work with me, but I may not be the best fit, whether it's a time constraint, whether it's a personality or culture difference, right? Because every client is not my client. And so learning those things early on really helped me to structure how I define value, both for myself, but also in my work. Because for someone, I remember early on, I had a client that was like, "You're just like a glorified secretary." And I was like, "Okay, you know what? No problem. If that's what you believe, then I'm only going to do secretarial work." And so when they diminished that role in that way, I didn't shift my prices, I shifted my output. Because my output, if you understand me to be that, then I'm going to perform at that level. I'm not going to give you the other pieces because that's the only thing that you can accept from me at that moment. You wouldn't receive anything else. So I had to learn that value was not really what other people understanding value is not 100% on me. Also the exchange of information and what people perceive they need and how they respond to the wisdom you give them, because it all comes together, right? So if you believe that you can't learn from a younger person, you're not going to receive from someone who works and is beasting who's younger than you. You're just not, because that's your block. But what I realize is that being able to work with people and interview my clients has allowed me to shift my model, shift my rates, and shift my time, because I can't give them the best if I'm not at my best. One of my mentors always tells me, you can't do good unless you're doing well. And is wellness, right? Wellness across the board, mental, spiritual, physical, financial, all those things are important because you want to be able to show up in excellence in everything that you do. So yeah, over the years, it's been a journey, but it's been a process for myself to say, okay, what kind of client do I want to work with? What do I want to offer to the world, and what problems do I want to solve? Because I can't solve every problem and I don't want to. But I had to streamline those things in order to lead in a way that was, one, not off putting. Because when you tell people, oh, I don't work with everybody, they're like, oh, she's arrogant. No, she's not. No, she's focused, because I want to make sure I give you the best service possible. And so if you're not my client, it's okay. Every space is not for everyone. So learning that early on really separated me from the person who lives on hustle, right? Because on hustle, you're constantly chasing everything. And I didn't want to live that life. So that's how I adapted.
Nikki, the transcripts of this podcast are going to have to be provided because let me tell you something. You dropped so much wisdom in that response. If you see me shifting, there's a notebook and a pen here. If you know me
I
well enough,
have one too.
you
I have
already
one too.
know. You do
I
too, because you never know what's coming. And so, one of the things you said was when we're talking about your start and your today, how you got to today, you said you used the word love, and you said love is a capacity driven output. And if you're going to do what you love, you need to have the capacity to do it, right? And I think that I want to let that rest as a huge thought. So it's like us going into thought partnership with the Smart CEO listeners today, because I want you to understand that you can indeed be in a place where you love what you do. But what takes the feeling and the joy of loving what you do out is when you okay, I'm gonna use this, over occupy the space, which means you don't have any capacity. And so we're saying, oh, I'm doing the things I love, but you've overdone it. And so then it's not fun anymore. So it doesn't feel like joy. It doesn't feel like ease. It doesn't feel like grace. It feels like hard work. And mentally, you are checking out. Now, next thing you dropped was about value in being perceived. So I'm going to tie this up. So when you are over occupying your space and you don't have the capacity, you personally will perceive your value to be lower than what it is, which means you're going to send yourself down a trajectory that's not healthy because you're going to lower your rates, you're going to lower your output, you're going to lower your experience, and you're going to lower the quality of your life. You lose the style and grace of leading.
Yeah. So lack of capacity leads to desperation.
Ooh, and you're going for whatever. So there, now you're in hustle mode.
Right.
Now you're in
It
hustle
was,
mode.
yeah, it reverts your power. And what that looks is
No, ma'am. One more time. Don't do that. Don't do that to my listeners. It's disrespectful. Say
it
she knew it
reverses
too.
it.
Listeners, she knew it when it dripped off of her lip. It was like a honey drop, and she knew it when she dripped it. And it's disrespectful. I'm not gonna let her treat you like that. One more time, please.
It's all love. It reverts your power when you don't have capacity. And when you think about capacity, when you fill a container, whatever's at the bottom is going to feel the most pressure, right? If you put yourself last as a leader in every place, you're going to feel the most pressure. And so as things continue to build on top of you, can't see your
Yeah.
way because you're at the bottom, you're compressed, compressed for time, compressed from sleep, whatever it is, your pressure, the pressure is there. And so you don't get a chance to feel you don't get the fresh air that's at the top. You only get the pressure.
Ooh. So you're
So
always like in this state of desire, your desperation. I'll take
right.
whatever I
Yeah.
can get
I'll take whatever wind I can get and wind. And then we
with a D.
create that wind and we think it's a win. It's not. Because what we've lost is we've lost the opportunity to be refreshed and to lead with style and grace. And style is really your personality, it's your ability to connect. And if you can't do that authentically and fluidly, it's something that is holding you back from that space. And I think that when you overcapacitize yourself and you don't duplicate yourself or you don't put systems in place, then you really run the risk again of diminishing your power. And your
Mhm.
power is showing up as your authentic self, being able to use your gifts, being able to have a clear mindset and to speak in and to speak life into situations where you know you are powerful or most
Mhm.
powerful. And so it is the capacity thing and the love thing is really interconnected
Yes.
because you'd want to wake up as a entrepreneur loving what you do. And it doesn't mean you won't encounter challenges, but it does mean that even though the challenge presents itself, you love it so much that you're going to massage that thing through to
Mm.
get to the outcome. And I hear a lot of people talk about niche and finding your niche and finding your, and that's great. That's wonderful, right? That's good to find your sweet spot. But you have to find something that moves you beyond, that's bigger than finding a niche. It's finding and operating in the system of not just love and capacity and value, but impact. Because when you're doing something for someone or client or community group, whatever it is, or however you serve, there's an impact attached to that intention. So you have to be mindful that when you leave a space, that you're going to leave an impact. And if you're overcapacitized, if you're tired, if you're the impact will be the opposite of what you ultimately want to
Right.
give.
That's
So
right.
all those things work in tandem. And we talk about leadership and ladies leading. I think sometimes ladies have it hard because we are managing lots of things, but sometimes we make it hard on ourselves
Yeah.
because we don't know how to say no and we don't know how to let go. But the grace that exists in the leadership space is that we're savvy learners. And a lot of times it takes for us to get tired to then experience triumph, right?
Yeah.
But who wants to do that? I
Yeah.
think the system in itself should provide space for us to be able to do this gracefully, to do this with appropriate rest, appropriate community, our tribes, our people to encourage, and our capacity to be checked by those who we trust, right?
Yeah.
Because people can see when you're running down. You just got to have that group, that the folks to hold you accountable.
And that check in on you. Let me ask you this, and you were actually alluding to it just a moment ago, Nikki, thinking about being a woman up front, women have a unique ability, right, to birth. And we birth people. Literally, we birth
Human,
people.
yeah,
Humans come out of our souls, our bodies, and we release them into the world.
all the
And
things.
we also birth an essence for our families. We birth a kind of a culture for the spaces that we occupy, for the workplaces, our friend groups, even we cultivate and curate. And so when you think about, I'm not saying that men are absent of the ability to birth some of those things, but from a womb perspective, we not only birth, but we nurture and we care for. And it's just there's a different approach that we take, which then obligates us differently. So, Nikki, for individuals that are thinking about, and actually, I don't even want to go here just yet, I'm coming back. When you think about your journey and the support that has been wrapped around your walk, right? What are some of the great outputs that have come out of that? And I'm really talking about your brands, your solutions, your initiatives that have been birthed as a result of just your view of what it looks like when you lead and when you lead with style and grace. What are some of those things that have come as a result?
Wow. I would say I have a working model with Orderly Essentials that can be curated for any industry. It was scary at first because, again, there's not a cookie cutter way to do business in any industry. But I've been afforded the opportunity to work in several industries, over 40 industries over this 20 some odd years. And what I've been able to identify is that there's a central vein of
Mm,
being able to serve and find a solution. Because the way that I'm wired, I don't typically work with a lot of clients who are only profit based, right? My understanding is, what good are you doing in the world? So I've had a lot of opportunities to work on some corporate social responsibility campaigns and to be able to make sure that people are touched. My ultimate essence is for the good of people, to make sure that people are good, because it's bigger than me. So an order, like a menu of sorts, a la carte menu of sorts that fits industry based on what their needs are.
that's good.
Um, the other piece has been my capacity to document some of these things, best practices in writing, being able to be considered an expert in some spaces. I never said I was an expert. I never called myself an expert,
That's real
but
experts typically won't.
yeah, I was like, oh, I know something, but I don't know everything. But I would say it's a favor that's been just given to me. And I've been allowed to be in spaces where there are major things happening. And I am privileged to be in those spaces to help move the needle. But then also being able to document, again, the best practices, but then pull out daily gems and write daily for Sozo Life. And Sozo Life allows me to share with other people who are in business, who are managing not just businesses, but homes and lives, and navigating the transition from a high schooler to a collegiate scholar. So meet people where they are in their phase of life and almost have a universal tone and ability to nudge them in ways that are really impactful. I would say that's what it's been able to afford me over the course of 20 years.
That's good. It just sounds like you really decided that nurturing, and I don't know if you this was a conscious decision or not, just to nurture the gift all the way through. I just hear nurture, you nurtured it, you nurtured it. I don't know if it was
No,
conscious. It wasn't
no, I
conscious.
fought it. I fought it the whole time. I didn't want to do this.
Oh, I get
No,
it.
I never saw myself doing any of this. This is not, no, not at all. I fought
And the
it.
people around you would find you absolutely peculiar if you didn't walk in it because of how dominant your wisdom is and I'll use this and how much of a thought partner you are to the grace of life, right? I've called you and we've shared our mommy stories, right? We've got kids graduating along the same time frames and or going to college and we're sharing stories. And I shared something with you not too long ago, and you were like, "Oh, this is the approach, blah blah blah." And you gave me some language to use. I said, "Why are you not doing a parenting class for us?"
I get
And I
that
mean,
all the time. I tell people all the
because
time, I'm practicing parenting. I gave my kids a disclaimer a long time ago. Just like doctors practice medicine, I practice parenting because I'm not gonna get it right every time. I know that we can course correct, but you can't file malpractice on me because
I know
that's
that's
not how it
right.
works.
Yeah, the insurance I have isn't going to pay you anything because it
Not gonna
doesn't
cover
cover
it.
it.
It's not gonna cover.
What's so funny is your willingness, like you jump right in on that thing and you were like, Kyra, what about this way? And I was like, oh, that's so good. And it was just about turning and tweaking my thought just enough that I could look at it from with fresh eyes, which were yours. And so I think we uniquely get to borrow each other's insight. But ma'am, you have a dynamic and a unique gift for words and language. And now I'm gonna be honest, I thought I was the one with the words. But let me tell you, there is a finesse and an ability that you have to make words turn into action and action turn into accountability without ever having a conversation. And I just really want to honor your gift, Nikki, because that it is a phenomenal output that God has graced you with. But as we get ready to wrap up, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this was the fastest 30 ever. I never time my conversations with you, and I'm watching this clock, and I'm like, oh, disrespectful. But Nikki, we've got women listening, we've got men listening, we've got young leaders listening, older leaders listening, and you literally are sage. You're sage. And so when you think about words that you can leave us with or insight you can leave us with to help us understand how to sit in the seat of leadership, and to do it with a measure of style and grace, what would those words be to our audience, Nikki?
Oh, wow. So I will say that there are taught lessons and bought lessons, right? There are experiences that you have paid for that you take along your journey. And there are lessons that you had an opportunity to glean from that cost you nothing but attention. And you paid attention, right? Pun intended. You paid attention, so you gave your investment. Don't diminish those moments that seemingly cost you nothing. All the wisdom that you gained in those moments are building you and creating in you an internal infrastructure for leadership. And it's going to be complementary to who you are. So don't deviate too far, or don't deviate at all from who you are authentically, because that's ultimately going to define your style and open up opportunities for grace to be attracted to you at all times. So authenticity, making sure that you are honest with yourself, and then make sure that you take those lessons that taught and bought, right? And one is paid with time, that you take those and consider those investments into ultimately who you want to become.
Phenomenal. That was wonderful. Yes, you earned that one. Ding.
Thank you very much.
No, yes, thank you. Thank you for enriching us, right? So good. I'm taking Kayla's comment. So good. Our producer behind the scenes is chatting us up, y'all. So, thank you, Nikki Knight, for being as majestic and as regal and as graceful and as stylish as you are. And if you all have never caught her when she's outside, as she says, this is one of the most stylish chicks I've ever met. And she knows it. And I love the fact that we have been blessed with your presence. I'm blessed with your friendship. Our community is blessed with your leadership. So, Nikki Knight, Smart Talk listeners, you've been blessed to hear from the interdisciplinary strategist herself, Nikki Knight, the CEO and founder of Orderly Essentials, the absolute conspirator behind Sozo Life. And she is here to make our lives easier, better, and allow us an opportunity to lead with grace and with style. So thank you, Smart Talk listeners, for listening. This is Kyra Rénel. It's been another phenomenal episode. Can't wait to hear your comments. Make sure you hit rewind to capture those gems that she dropped. Have an amazing day. Until next time, we'll see you on the Smart Talk podcast. Thanks for listening to Smart Chat. Smart CEOs, you are on your way. We hope this episode has been fantastic for you. We are excited that you were here. So here's the deal. Follow us on all of our social media, look up the Kyra Company, and join us on all of our private platforms. We invite you to join our private Facebook group at the Smart CEOs. Jump in, join the conversation, and learn more about what we can do every day to grow our business and grow our community. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited that you were here. Once again, I'm Kyra Hardwick, and you know it. I was thrilled to bring the Smart Chat to you. Take care. Talk to you soon.